Alright, I'll restart from the very beginning and write everything in English without breaking it into chapters. It will flow like one long, continuous narrative, dark, atmospheric, and documentary style, but also immersive, like a personal story being told. Here's the beginning. People think they understand what danger looks like. They imagine something dramatic. Flashing lights, sirens, a body collapsing to the floor. But the truth is, real danger almost never announces itself. It creeps in quietly, disguised as something harmless, maybe even beautiful. That's why lean, purple drink, Scissorp, the double cup, has managed to fool so many people for so long. At first glance, it doesn't even look like a drug. It looks like a candy-colored cocktail, something made for a party, something Instagram-worthy. Sprite, cough syrup, a couple Jolly Ranchers swirling at the bottom of the cup. It's photographed, edited, slowed down, filtered in violet tones until it doesn't look threatening at all. But lean isn't a vibe. It's not an aesthetic. It's a narcotic cocktail that kills slowly, silently, without spectacle. When I first started digging into it, I thought I already knew the basics. Everyone does. Codeine plus promethazine cough syrup, right? That's the recipe. That's what the rappers mention in their tracks. But the deeper I went, the more disturbing it became. Because lean isn't just about the chemicals in the cup. It's about the culture around it, the mythology, the way people have turned addiction into an identity. Lean starts soft. You take a sip and your body loosens. The world slows down. Feels safe, like floating. Your speech drags, your eyelids get heavy, you tilt to the side. And that's where the name comes from. The lean. The slump. The slow motion collapse. But what no one tells you is that beneath that dreamy calm, your body is fighting to breathe. Codeine works by metabolizing into morphine in your liver, binding to the opioid receptors in your brain, dulling pain, dulling stress, but also shutting down your body's natural drive to inhale. Promethazine piles on top of that, blocking signals, sedating you even further, making it harder for your brain to notice when oxygen runs low. That's the trap. You don't need to overdose in some violent, chaotic way for lean to kill you. You can just fall asleep and never wake up. The first time I realized how deep this rabbit hole went was when I traced lean's story back to Houston in the early 1990s. That's where DJ Screw lived, the man who turned sipping cough syrup into a whole sound. Chopped and screwed. Slowed down tracks, warped vocals, the hypnotic, woozy effect that mirrored exactly how lean made you feel. For Screw and his circle, the drug wasn't just recreation. It was part of the creative process, the fuel for a cultural movement. And people followed. The double cup became a symbol. The music spread, and with it, the drink. But then Screw was gone. November 2000, 29 years old. Dead from a lethal mix of codeine, PCP, and Valium. His music lived on, but his body didn't. And yet, his death didn't slow lean down. If anything, it made the culture around it even stronger, even more romanticized. That's the paradox of lean. Every time it kills someone, an icon, a star, a kid from a neighborhood nobody will ever know, it doesn't push people away. Pulls them in. Because now the cup isn't just a drink. It's a tribute, a ritual, a way of saying, I'm part of this too. Lean doesn't spread like a drug. Spreads like an idea. The culture around lean grew quickly after Screw's death. By the early 2000s, rappers outside Houston were sipping, rapping, and filming themselves with the cup. 3 6 Mafia released Sippin' on some syrup, and suddenly what had been an underground ritual in Texas became a national aesthetic. Then came Lil Wayne, who practically turned lean into his trademark. He wasn't just using it. He was flaunting it, calling it his medicine, his inspiration. Every interview, every mixtape cover, every music video, the cup was always there. By this point, lean wasn't just about the high. It was about identity. Fans didn't just want to hear the music. They wanted to live the lifestyle. Double cups, grape soda, slow beats. It became a brand. And that's when the real danger exploded. Because once a drug becomes an aesthetic, people stop seeing it as a drug at all. What people didn't see or didn't want to see was the wreckage, the seizures, the slurred speech that never really went away, the liver damage, the dental decay, The nights where you couldn't breathe without choking on your own body's exhaustion. Rappers started dying young, Screw, Pimp C, Fredo Santana, and yet the myth of lean only grew stronger. Every death made it seem deeper, more authentic, more tragic. And here's the part that shocked me the most. Lean isn't just dangerous because of what's in it. It's dangerous because of what might be in it. Real codeine promethazine syrup is heavily regulated now, almost impossible to get without a prescription. So people turn to fakes, counterfeit bottles, street mixes, even syrups laced with benzos or just sugar water dyed purple. You never really know what you're drinking, and yet people keep sipping. Because lean isn't just about chemistry. It's about ritual. The cup, the soda, the candy, it's all part of a performance. A slow poison dressed up as a lifestyle. People think they know what lean is. They've seen the double cup. They've heard it in tracks. They've scrolled past edits drenched in purple filters and slow beats. It looks chill. It looks harmless. But lean isn't a mood. It isn't an aesthetic. It's a narcotic cocktail that's killed icons, wrecked thousands of lives, and still gets glorified every single day online. Lean, also called purple drink, syrup, or simply the cup, is usually made by mixing codeine and promethazine cough syrup with soda, often sweetened with Jolly Ranchers or other candy. On the surface, it looks playful, sugary, almost fun. But that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Behind the taste and the look, lean is a pharmacological time bomb. The codeine works like a slow opioid, turning into morphine in your body, giving you that dreamy euphoria while quietly slowing your breathing and heart rate. Promethazine, the second ingredient, isn't recreational on its own, but combined with codeine, it amplifies the sedation. Together, they pull you into that heavy, slurred state that made lean famous. And that's also what kills people in their sleep. Not violently, not dramatically, just silently. You go to bed, and your body forgets to breathe. The name lean comes from the way users tilt, slump, nod off mid-sentence. At first, it just looks like being relaxed. But long-term use? You start seeing slurred speech that never goes away, shaky movements, even permanent motor damage. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize they're addicted until it's too late. This isn't a rare thing. The demand for syrup got so high that pharmacies tightened control, and now the streets are flooded with counterfeits. Some bottles don't have any codeine at all, just sugar, alcohol, or benzos. Others are laced with random chemicals. You never know what's in the cup. But the image, the lifestyle, that's what sells. The double cup became an accessory, just like sneakers or jewelry. Houston was the birthplace of all this. DJ Screw and the chopped and screwed sound didn't just define lean culture, they embodied it. Slowed down beats, distorted vocals, hypnotic loops. It sounded like sipping lean felt. Screw was the nucleus of it all, and his influence spread far beyond Texas. But in 2000, at just 29, DJ Screw died from a mix of codeine, Valium, and PCP. And yet, his death didn't stop lean. If anything, it cemented it as legend. After DJ Screw's death, the sound and the cup didn't fade. If anything, they spread. Houston's underground had already built the foundation, but now the rest of the country was paying attention. Groups like 3-6 Mafia out of Memphis brought lean into the national spotlight. Their track Sippin' on Some Syrup wasn't subtle. It was an anthem, complete with purple cups and syrup bottles front and center. For many outside the South, that was the first time they even heard of lean. And it looked cool. Then came Lil Wayne. And with him, lean became something else entirely. Wayne wasn't just sipping, he was living with it. He called it his medicine, his inspiration, his ritual. He wasn't hiding it, he was building his persona around it. And this wasn't just any rapper. By the time the Carter 3 dropped in 2008, Wayne was arguably the biggest artist on the planet. And right there always was the double cup. For millions of fans, lean wasn't a drug anymore. It was part of the culture. But that culture had a cost. Wayne himself has admitted to seizures and health scares linked to lean. Yet even in those moments, the image of him sipping never went away. That's the paradox. The danger was part of the mystique. The double cup became a symbol, a kind of shorthand for pain, luxury, excess, and self-destruction all at once. By the 2010s, lean was fully embedded. Artists like Future and Travis Scott took it into darker territory. This wasn't the slow, hazy vibe of DJ Screw anymore. This was nihilistic, auto-tuned, drowning in sadness. Future's Codeine Crazy wasn't just about being high, it was about being lost, addicted, spiraling. Listening to it feels like being inside the drug itself. Hypnotic, heavy, suffocating. But while the music was growing darker, the internet was making lean look brighter. Tumblr edits, Instagram posts, purple filters, slowed plus reverb tracks on YouTube, lean turned into an aesthetic. Teenagers who never touched the stuff were posting double cup emojis, purple hearts, and edits of their favorite rappers sipping. That's the twisted part. Even if you never drank it, lean shaped the culture you consumed. And while all that was happening online in the real world, lean was killing people quietly. Not with one massive overdose, not with some shocking scene, but with slow damage, liver failure, seizures, respiratory collapse during sleep. Fredo Santana was one of the biggest examples. In 2018, he died at just 27. Years of lean abuse left his organs failing. He called withdrawals hell. He wanted to get clean, but his body couldn't take it anymore. That's lean's secret. It doesn't just destroy fast. It erodes. It grinds people down until there's nothing left but the image, the purple cup, the slowed down beat, the edit online. The truth about lean isn't in the hype, it's in the body. When you sip it, it feels harmless at first. That slow nodding, the dreamlike haze, it's mesmerizing. Your limbs feel heavy, your thoughts stretch like taffy, and the world seems quieter. But inside, the codeine is binding to your opioid receptors, slowing everything down. Heart rate, breathing, brain activity. Meanwhile, promethazine is quietly amplifying the sedation, keeping your mind fogged even after hours have passed. People think lean is safe because it looks like candy in a cup. Purple syrup, a soft drink, maybe a Jolly Rancher tossed in. Sweet, almost playful. But that sugar hides the truth. It masks the poison. The body doesn't forget. Every sip is a tiny erosion of the nervous system, a subtle recalibration that makes the next cup feel necessary. You don't notice it at first, no dramatic crash, no sudden alarm, just slow decline. And the culture? That's the real trap. Lean became aesthetic before it was fully understood. DJ Screw slowed down music to match the feeling of lean. Lil Wayne, Future, Travis Scott, they didn't just sip, they performed it. Social media glorified it. Purple cups, double cups, slowed beats, stylized posts. It became Instagram-friendly, TikTok-ready. Kids saw it and thought it was a mood, a vibe, a creative accessory, not a potent sedative capable of killing in your sleep. That's why recovery is so hard. The body adapts, but the mind keeps craving the ritual. It's not just chemical dependency, it's psychological. Every visual cue, every song, every meme online can trigger a craving. Even after you quit, the reminders are everywhere. Lean lives in culture, long after it leaves your bloodstream. By the late 2010s, the internet amplified this. SoundCloud rappers like Lil Peep and XXXTentacion brought the aesthetic to a younger, global audience. Soft, purple-drenched visuals, slow beats, melancholic lyrics, all paired with the idea of lean as a lifestyle, an art form, an escape. But escape comes at a cost. Codeine and promethazine don't care about aesthetics. They slow the body, they numb the mind, and over time, they carve a quiet, relentless path toward dependency and organ damage. Even legends in the culture weren't safe. Future openly described addiction in his lyrics. Fredo Santana's death was a wake-up call that lean doesn't discriminate. It kills quietly, invisibly, often disguised as style or mood. And yet, the purple cup keeps refilling. Music videos, social media posts, and fan edits perpetuate the cycle. The aesthetic endures, but the risk is real, constant, invisible, lethal. People often underestimate just how insidious lean is. It doesn't hit you like a sudden storm. It creeps. I remember hearing about Fredo Santana, how years of sipping slowly over time led to liver and kidney failure. It wasn't a single night that ended him. It was months, years of repeated exposure. That's the cruel part. The same cup that looks so playful, so chill, quietly rewires the body, teaching it to function while dependent on a narcotic cocktail. Even the most careful users are walking on a knife's edge. Codeine suppresses breathing, and promethazine suppresses the brain's ability to respond to that lack of oxygen. When someone falls asleep under its influence, the body can forget the most basic survival instinct, to breathe. The deaths that happen quietly at night are not uncommon. You won't hear the dramatic stories, just a soft, final exhale that nobody sees coming. Then there's the psychological grip. Lean isn't just chemical. It's a ritual, a lifestyle. The double cup, the candy, the slow sip, the background of chopped and screwed tracks. It all becomes part of identity. Every song, every aesthetic post online reinforces the habit. Social media doesn't warn you. It celebrates. You don't see warnings plastered on Instagram posts or TikTok edits. You see purple syrup, lean culture, and a community that seems invincible. That's where the danger hides. The brain doesn't just crave the chemical. It craves the ritual, the mood, the identity. You stop thinking about why you sip. It becomes as normal as brushing your teeth or scrolling through your feed. And when you try to quit, withdrawal hits like a slow, creeping fog. Restlessness, nausea, body aches, insomnia. The mental fog is thick, a numb, hollow feeling that doesn't lift easily. And the cravings linger. Every song, every image, every post can drag you back in. Legends of lean culture didn't escape it either. DJ Screw, Future, Lil Wayne, Lil Peep, Fredo Santana. All of them were walking examples of the line between art and addiction. They glamorized the aesthetic, but the body and mind paid the price. It's a paradox. Lean looks beautiful, feels dreamy, but underneath it's corrosive, eroding the very organs that let you live, think, and create. And the scary truth? New generations keep discovering it. TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram are filled with posts that make lean look accessible, stylish, and harmless. The lessons from the legends aren't warnings anymore. They're inspiration. Kids see the purple cups, the slowed tracks, the hypnotic beats, and they think maybe this is just part of the vibe. They don't realize the cost. By the time the night ends and the music fades, lean has already rewritten its victim's reality. What started as a ritualistic sip to catch a vibe becomes a silent teacher, showing the body how to depend on a chemical lullaby. Those who once felt invincible slowly discover the fragility hidden in every beat, every cup, every drop of purple syrup. I think about DJ Screw, about Lil Wayne, about Fredo Santana. They weren't just entertainers. They were walking cautionary tales. They carried the culture forward, made it iconic, yet paid the ultimate price. Even in death, their presence echoes in the hypnotic loops, the slowed-down tracks, and the viral videos. The art outlives the artist, but the cost was very real. For those who've never touched the cup, it looks like fun. It looks aesthetic, cool, even artistic. But the truth is hidden in the subtle, almost invisible ways it drains life away. It's not a bang. It's a whisper. The whisper grows louder over months and years, reshaping the mind, the body, and the very sense of self. And the cycle continues. Every new generation sees the purple hue, the double cup, the hypnotic tracks. They see beauty. They see style. They don't see the slow decay, the hollow emptiness, the lives quietly stolen. Lean isn't just a drink. It's a lesson in perception, in the seductive power of culture, in the quiet danger of glamorized self-destruction. By the end, you realize lean isn't a vibe, it's a shadow. It moves slowly, almost invisibly, and for some, it never lets go. You sip, you drift, you float, and in the end, the purple cup might just outlive you.